This is my 2003 Kawasaki Ninja 636. This isn't just a sports bike, this is a fully set up stunt bike. From the custom gas tank to the custom seats, upgraded suspension, there's not much left from the original 636.
So now let's go over what we're going to do here. I'm keeping my gas tank, I'm keeping my tail section. These two elements are going to remain as is. One, I spent a lot of money on fabricating this for my motorcycle, with it being a stunt gas tank. The tail section I don't mind as it is right now for the moment. What I am going to do is I'm going to get rid of this whole front end assembly. This windscreen, the top fairing, the side fairings, everything's got to go. We're getting rid of it. We're going to take what's already in style right now, aggressive aero wing blades, aggressive body lines, and we're going to design something that fits this bike that looks like it's from 2026, not 2003. So the first thing we're going to have to do is 3D scan the motorcycle. I need to make sure I actually have several 3D scans. One with all the plastics, everything on, and another scan, I'm going to remove all these front end plastics so that way I have a good scan of where my engine is, where the hoses are, so that way I know exactly what tolerances I have to play with. And then I also have to make sure I know where everything mounts. My game plan is to utilize every single OEM mounting point. I want this new fairing assembly to be as plug and play as possible, so it doesn't have to have custom brackets made. Because of the modern technology we have available of 3D scanning and 3D printing, this is all doable now. I don't have to try to buy a fairing and make it fit. I'm gonna make my fairing fit, and I'm gonna make it fit like as if it was designed for this motorcycle. So that's the first thing we're gonna do. We're gonna 3D scan the bike, and then we're gonna get to the design stage. And just like the Subaru fairing fender, I'm gonna fiberglass it all, put it on the stunt bike, and we're gonna see if it lasts. 3D scanning stage. Before I get to do any of the scanning, I gotta take a bunch of these markers and apply them to the whole bike.
These tracking markers are little reflective dots that give the scanner reference points so it always knows where it is in 3D space. Without them, the scan can drift or lose accuracy, especially on flat or smooth surfaces like this. And with the Einstar 2 in laser mode, tracking markers are required.
Okay, all the markers are applied. There's a lot of them. And that's because I want to scan the whole bike. I want to have a full reference of how everything is going to kind of look while I'm designing. Anyhow, for this scanning stage, I am going to be using the Einstar 2 blue laser mode. This thing is just a beast. The quality and everything is just fantastic in laser mode. So that's what I'm going to be using. And before I start the scanning process, I'm going to use some of this orange dueling spray. This one's the long lasting. I've noticed the blue one just doesn't last as long for me. And so I'm just going to apply some of this on the black elements, and then that should help me with the tracking. And for those that don't know, 3D scanners don't really like black elements too much. They just can't really figure out where the details are. With the laser mode, it does help a lot, but adding some of this stuff is just going to help improve speed and the level of detail. So I'm going to spray some of these elements down, and then we're going to start the scanning process.
Now I'm scanning the bike from every angle, capturing its shape in 3D space. The scanner at the same time is generating millions of points called a point cloud, which will then be turned into a mesh. So now that I have everything scanned, the next step is to assemble it. What I like to do is I like to start a new project that's just called assembly, and the trick is to make sure you use the same exact scan mode. So for me, it's laser mode. Now what I'm going to do is click on open project, go in, and manually add the scans one by one. So here I'm going to my ZX6R folder, my full fairing scans. That's going to be the first stuff, project 1. and then the scan project. Now that loads in just fine, as you could see, and I continue by going open project. Now I go over to project 2, scan, open. Same exact thing, it just pops in, it's misaligned, which is totally normal. And then I just go in and I take all the projects, all the scans, and I continue that same exact process. Open project, add, open project, add. And then at the end of it, you're gonna see we have a full assembly of all of our scans in a brand new working project. So that way our original scan project is not gonna get damaged in any way, and we could be destructive in this one. So now that I have merged all these project scans into one new project, all I'm gonna do now is align. So the key thing is my first scan, I scanned a lot more than I needed. And that's because I wanted to have all the tracking markers for all the other scans present. This way, when I align it, it makes life a whole lot easier. So I'm going to project align, going to project 1. This is your fixed window. This is what never moves or shifts in any of the coordinates. And then floated window is all these pieces that you want to shift and move around and align to this master, if you will. So with that being said, project 2 is going to be the tail end, and I'm going to align by markers. This is going to help me with precise alignment and faster alignment. So once I select that, I just press apply, and it starts aligning. It takes a moment, sometimes faster, sometimes longer, but down here you can see the result. So this is a successful alignment. Now I'm just going to click next, and now I just slowly move my way down through this whole process. So there we go. Now we have a perfectly aligned scan. And now as you can see, so these _1s are all the non-fairing scans. As you can see, now I have my beautiful engine with the hoses, everything present. And then I have the full bike scan as well. And then what I also did was I did another scan without the crash cage on. So that way I know exactly where my holes are for the mounting and everything. So that in a nutshell is how I scanned the motorcycle. Now, what you can do is go in and clean up all the debris that's floating. That's what I did on the final version, because this is just a rundown of the process. And once you're ready, this is what I like to do. Again, project 1 is my master. So what I like to do is go in and select these and not delete, because that will delete your scan from the folder, but click remove. It just removes it from the project. I remove these and I mesh the bike without the engine. Then what I'll do is I'll merge these projects back in, and let's say they're misaligned again. I go ahead and I line these back to project 1, as my project 1 is the fixed location, and then I remove project 1 from that and I output the scans without the fairings. And that's where we're going to take a look at this master file that's already cleaned up and assembled. And here's the official project scan. This is within my program now, and this is all the bits, the outside shell and the inside, the engine, all the good stuff. So to kind of go over what we're looking at, here's the first segment. This is where I had all the plastics on and I captured what I needed for the project. I have a few of the engine areas, but that wasn't really a priority for me. I wanted to see exactly where all the mounting points are, so the hardware, things like that. And as you can see, the scanner picked up all those details and it looks fantastic. It's exactly what I needed for this segment. I know where this hole is for the crash cage. I know where all the guts are for the mounting points. Over here, for example, these screws, roughly how deep they are, things like that. Now, if we hide this scan and open up my engine scan, this is without the exterior. This is where I took the plastics off and I rescanned everything. Now, as you can see, we have a more precise engine. We have the radiator. We have the coolant line hoses. We have more of the engine over here. We have the headers. So this is what gives me the information for when I'm designing as to clearances. The other thing we have is a clear view of where all the mounting points are. So for example, if I turn on my bike layer, and let's say we'll make it a different color, I could now reference where the hardware goes. So I know this is the key point, this is the key point, this is the key point. And the beauty of it now is I can see, okay, this is the radiator, this is the frame, this is the frame. These things are fixed. This one, because it is a radiator, it does use hardware to mount and it does flex. This is a little bit of a forgiveness area, or not so much forgiveness as a tolerance. I have to increase the diameter of my hole in case the radiator shifts. So that's the key thing to understand, is where it's fixed mounted and where it's floating mounted. And same thing goes here. Frame, frame, radiator. And as you can see by the color overlapping, the scan aligned very, very well, very accurately. So I know I could trust what I'm looking at. And the same thing goes up here. I now know where the mounting points are for the top fairing assembly. So I'll know exactly how to model, and also what other elements I have that I could use for stability and reinforcement on the fairings. So that in a nutshell is how I assembled it. And then I went in and separated some parts so that way I could have a good view of where to increase or decrease offsets, things like that. And then I also have my cluster as a separate element. So when I'm designing the fairings, I know how to design around that. So overall, this is the full scan, and as you can see, the quality is fantastic. And now the next step is to start designing away. And now the final reveal. This is the final design of what I'm going to 3D print and mount on my motorcycle. I have everything modeled. As you can see, everything that's a separate color is a separate piece. So the wing blades, originally I was going to make them all integrated with the bike. So kind of like this, for example. Let me show you right here. But the fear of them snapping off when I crash and then having the whole top end be useless, I decided to revise the design. So I went in, I created a flat surface with holes, so that way I could put hardware in on the backside and I can install the wing blades like that. I'm going to use thread, heat set thread elements, whatever they're called, thread inserts on the wing blade, and then just I believe these are made for M4 hardware on the backside. As far as the bike itself goes, the fairings, I am going to use M5 well nuts, and that's what I have here. All these holes right here. The top hole, as you can see, is smaller diameter than the inside hole. This is where the well nut insert will go, and then this is where the hardware will go. And I'm going to 3D print little washers or bi washers, so that way this will just bolt right up. I have these holes for the top fairing assembly, and then last but not least, I have all the mounting brackets, everything created with holes ready to go, as well as the holes for my crash cage. Now, if I show you the 3D scan, here we go. This is what we're looking at. We have the crash cage. The way I designed the fairing, it perfectly clears every single element for the crash cage. The holes for the bottom are already going to be integrated. I don't have to cut anything. And all the mounting holes, as you can see, align perfectly to where they should go. So this, in theory, is going to be plug and play, unless there's issues with the 3D print, and then I'm gonna have to fix things just manually. The other thing I did was I made sure the hoses, the tolerances are present, so that way nothing's rubbing up against my 3D print, and that way I could more or less increase the chances of success, because those radiator coolant hoses do get hot. So this, in a nutshell, is my game plan. And the other thing that I'm going to do is see how I have this crossbar on my motorcycle. I'm actually going to use that, and I'm just going to drill some holes maybe right here, and just add well nuts or something to hold that plastic in place. The other thing, and this doesn't show it, I have it here on one of these layers. I forgot where. It might be, here it is. I added these little areas, and I still have to actually add the holes. These are also going to be heat thread inserts, so that way I could use hardware to mount these bars into the bike. This is a pretty thin piece of metal, so I'm going to bend it down so that way it's symmetrical and aligns perfectly. But this way I'll have hardware here and here to support the top fairing. And then after that, with the hardware over here, all the inserts, the sides are gonna hold it up. And because I'm not doing a headlight or anything, I'm not too worried about the weight. The last thing I did was I created cylinders to represent my forks, as well as give me a turn radius for preview, something like this. So that way I know exactly how much clearance I need to do. And the way I knew where my max turn was, as you can see, once I hit the frame, the bike doesn't turn. There's a stop right here on the neck of the motorcycle. So that way I'm not overdoing the clearance, but I'm also not going to snap my whole assembly off trying to turn the bike or crash the bike trying to turn the bike. So this in a nutshell is the design of the motorcycle fairing assembly that I'm going to 3D print. The CAD data worked amazingly well, and now it's time to go to final and start printing away. So there it is. If there's any questions about how I modeled it, the technique I used was poly modeling. Just started off by making these side intakes. After that, I did a symmetry modifier, so I flipped it over to the other side. And unfortunately, because this is kind of an asymmetrical thing, I had to start changing the design around to work with what I had to make it work with. So for example, this side, I was able to have it be nice and aggressive. This side, it was interacting with, I believe this is the stator cover. So I had to change the design a little bit to make it flow with the stator cover. The mounting points here are a little different, so I had to make sure the design offsets here. And then the offset for the radiator hoses and stuff is a little wider, so I had to shift my fairing off a little bit to the side. So it's not a perfectly symmetrical thing, and it sucks because you have to more or less do the work twice, kind of. But it is definitely well worth it, and I'm really excited to see what this looks like printed and installed on the bike. So the next step is to start 3D printing and assembling the plastics.